Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Portsmouth. Now then, bloody hell. Like, I know we were favourites to get promoted this year, and that obviously means we've got a relatively decent side, but Christ on all kinds of bikes. What a month we've had. Now, before we get into that, I know not all of you watch both series. I know not all of my subscribers watch both series that I do, which is understandable because obviously people have different tastes. That's why I do two different series at the same time to cater to kind of what everyone wants to see. So, I'm just going to repeat a couple of things that I said in the earlier episode, which is simply thank you to everyone that has subscribed so far, because we're nearly at 50 subscribers, which is amazing for me, and I can't believe that I've got this far so quickly, so thank you to all of you that have subscribed, considering like a week ago we were at less than like 23, I think it was, which is a crazy amount to go up in like such a short space of time, so thank you to everyone that's done that. The second thing I wanted to talk about, which I have briefly forgotten, let me just see if I can find my notes, is that I will be doing a live com. Not in this episode, it will be in the next episode, just because of the way that I have to record things, unfortunately. But I have found out that my computer is capable of doing it. It will, of course, be on 2D Classic, but the highlights will still be in 3D. So don't worry about that. You just have to turn the graphics down a bit, because obviously I can't play the game in 3D because I can't see it as well tactically, and I found it much harder to actually win games when I've got the actual games themselves in 3D. So the actual game will be in like 2D Classic, but when the goals go in, the replays will be in 3D, so hopefully that will be sufficient for you guys, and that way you can tell me what the hell I'm doing wrong in tactics, although at the moment it would seem that there's pretty much not a lot I'm doing wrong in the tactics. We had a hell of a month. Also, I should point out, we won Manager of the Month for August, and if we don't win Manager of the Month for September, I will shit a brick. What a bloody month we've had. So let's get things started. We had the first game of the month was away. That's right, away from home at Burton Albion. And with the way things are going, anything could have happened in this game. We have been utterly brilliant. And I've just noticed that we can do highlights of this game for some weird reason. And I don't fully understand why that is. But let's just see if there's anything more entertaining this month. That's probably our biggest game of the month. So yeah, I think when it comes to highlights, we'll do highlights of this game. Let's make sure that we've got it set to the correct camera. So I will just, where is it? Where is the bastard? Here we go. See you guys in a sec. Right, so I'm just going to jump straight into this basically, and yeah, I will see you guys in the highlights. Let's get rid of this slightly. Apologies, that always seems to come up huge and I don't quite know why. Anyway, so basically we started off this game incredibly well. Attenjana with the ball here, drops it back to Hollands. Hollands' ball forward to Miles Story, who dropped out wide here, rolled the ball along for Andy Barcham, and it was eventually cleared. However, when the ball is lumped forward by Burton, it is immediately picked up by Watmer into Partington, who'd already been booked at this point. Watmer, Hartington, Hollands. Partington gets the ball back out to Attenjana, who rolls it into Jed Wallace. Jed Wallace is just an absolute dynamo. What a great little pass through the side there. And it's 1-0 to Pompey through Attenjana, who, one thing about him, his character in the 3D match engine appears to be white. So that's a strange one. And then our second goal was a great header, I think from Jed Wallace. No, it was Taft. It looked like Wallace, but Taft actually was the one putting it into his own net in the end. So that was a little bit unfortunate. I apologise that it's a bit jumpy probably for you. It's just the sheer weight of the new match engine is a little bit heavy on my computer. I can't wait to get a new one just so we can have it in proper high quality. Then, lovely work in the midfield. We're playing the ball around so nicely in this area, and eventually the ball is cleared away by Burton. They weren't even that bad on the night, but we did have much more clear-cut chances, and that was probably what did it for us in the end. Jones just messing with it in his own area, drops it all the way over the top, pretty much, and Miles Story makes no mistake here. I noticed something in this game as well. Players will take it around the goalkeeper in one-on-one situations from time to time, and that is nice to see. We didn't exactly have a huge away support there, to be honest, but we'll take it. That left us with a 3-0 lead in the first half. Now, just after half-time, Burton, they made some changes, and they did start to come into the game a little more in the second half. Partington with a great tackle that drops it through. Attenjana with a lovely ball over the top, and Story dispatches this wonderfully with the outside of his foot, and that made it 4-0. Now, there was still time. I kind of just took a breather I said to them, just take a rest. We've got other games this month. We don't need to overdo it. And eventually Burton did, unfortunately, grab a late goal back. And it was a decent goal in the end, to be honest. What a strike there. And the ball, well, it's a shame the first one didn't go in for them. For their sake, it would have been nice to see the first goal go in. But, you know, it's just one of those things. So that is the highlights of the game against Burton. And as you can see, we dominated the game. I mean, they had a few chances, and if anything, more shots on target. But we've just been so... We've been ruthless in front of goal this season, and that has been the key for us. Now, against Southend, again, away from home, we had another absolutely cracking performance. And hello, highlights again. That's strange. I don't know why it's doing that. I genuinely don't know why you can see highlights of some games and not others. It makes no sense to me at the moment. It just seems to be a bit random, and that's something that hopefully they'll iron out before FM15 comes out, like, in to the consumer, like, release. We were much better than South End, and the thing about this game is Story put us in front relatively early on, and he's been unbelievable this year. He's so fast. I don't even know what his stats are in terms of his pace, but yeah, 17. He is unbelievably quick when it comes to chasing down lost causes, and he does it on a regular basis, and that's fantastic. Paul Robinson actually got us another goal, and he's been pretty decent for us too, just relatively close to half time. But then Yasin, that guy has so many vowels in his name. It's like Countdown. His name is Countdown. Someone should have asked Carol for some more consonants. If you know how to say his name, please tell me, because again, I do try with the names, but sometimes they throw me a bit. Mutawukil? I'm sorry. I can't. I'll have to look up the phonetic pronunciation of his name in case we ever run into him again. And to be honest, I would have been screaming his name when he scored the goal if I could say it. Basically, it was one of those ones where they're looping across from, like, literally from the touchline, and it just goes straight over your goalie's head. So they were very lucky to get even that from the game. So perhaps it should have been 2-0 to us. Now, in the next game, we had Dagenham and Redbridge at home, and it's an interesting one, because I was actually doing a live com test on this game while I was playing it, so it was a little bit difficult because I wasn't in my standard recording position, which meant that I had to sort of peer around my microphone in order to see things, but it didn't stop us from winning. It took us a little while. We were under the cosh a little bit. I made a mistake with my sort of tactics at first, and we let them onto us a little too much by dropping too deep. We pushed up a little bit, and then Wallace's free kick before half-time was able to give us the lead, and goals from Andy Barcham and Paul Robinson in the second half, who also baddie from Neighbours. So yeah, if you watch Neighbours, I don't know how he's playing with one leg, but good for him. Put us 3 goals to the good, and Dagenham were pretty poor once we kind of got a grip on the game. They just folded like a deck of cards. That doesn't even make any sense. Folded like a pack of cards? Folded like a bad poker hand, maybe. I don't know. Someone needs to think about that expression a bit more. Wickham, again, at home, it was a relatively routine win, although the one bad thing is that we did pick up an injury to Andy Barcham, and I'm going to show you our injury table in a minute because it is fucking ridiculous. And notice, highlights again. Strange. I don't know what it is. Maybe you can do highlights of games that were played on the new, like, match engine or something. But I couldn't do it on St. Pauli. I'm really confused, guys. I don't know what it is. It must be a bug. But against Wickham, we were dominant. Like, possession-wise, kept it pretty much the entire game. Attenjana and Danny Holland's goals in quick succession. I thought we were going to push on and get a few more, but when it started to get a little bit late in the game, I just decided to ease off a little bit, and that's kind of where Wickham got a few of their chances. Basically, it seems that we can win a game by as many goals as we like and not concede any most of the time at the moment, and the only time they really get a goal against us at the moment is when we ease off the pressure a little bit just to try and save some energy. So there's that, which is awesome. And lastly, we had Hartlepool, and I was really, really impressed with this result, and you'll see why in a sec. Basically, we took the lead very early on with Paul Robinson again stepping up. He connected with I think it was actually a corner. Yeah, Ricky Holmes was finally playing for us. He's been out for quite a while, so it means that he was taking the free kicks instead of Wallace, because he could really whip one in, and Robinson was just bang on it. Then we gave away a really sloppy penalty. I think it was Leo Chambers that tackled Tommy Miller, or tackled someone, and Tommy Miller was able to convert the penalty. Now, not long after that, about 27 minutes into the game, Robertson got himself booked 2 times in 2 minutes, which meant that, again, baddie from Neighbours, he was living up to his reputation. So obviously he had some kids to get off of his lawn or something. So eventually he was red carded on the 27th minute. And Hartlepool did start to dominate the game. I made some defensive changes and moved things around a little bit. And somehow we managed to get a complete grip on it, wrestle it away from them. And Miles Story's goal put us 2-1 up despite being down to 10 men. And then Tom Naylor, with a fantastic header late in the game, was able to give us a 3-1 win away at Hartlepool despite playing more than 60 minutes of the game with 10 men. We are rampant at the moment, and that will become abundantly clear when you see the league table. Yeah, indeed. We are currently 8 points clear of Carlisle and Stevenage, and 10 points clear of dropping out of an automatic promotion spot at the moment. We'd have to go on an abysmal run just to drop out, and our goal difference is already plus 21. It's very, very tight beneath that, so we could, in theory, easily, if we did lose our automatic promotion spot, we could easily drop into a playoff spot, out of the playoffs too, because it is so unbelievably tight. From 4th place York to 15th place Accrington, it's 3 points. That's mental. Unfortunately for AFC Wimbledon, who I think they're sponsored by Football Manager, so really sad for them. Not looking good for you guys. Miles Story is the top scorer in the league though with 8, although Carlton Morris and Kwesi Appiah, who is a beast. I've seen him play for Cambridge this season and he is amazing. I think he scored a hat-trick against Oxford, in fact. He's on loan, I think, from Crystal Palace, I believe, but he's a belter of a player. And yeah, so we have all 4 players on the average ratings score chart are all ours, and that is what I like to see. So let's take a look at the stats. And remember, be dropping in the comments what players you want to see the attributes develop of, so I can show you guys in a latter episode. Apps, well, it's basically Jed Wallace. He is an absolute star at this level. He has already won Young Player, or he might have even won just Player of the Month, straight up Player of the Month. Top goal scorer for us, that's Miles Story. He's got 9 in all competitions thanks to his goal against Brighton, I think it was. Andy Bartram has 5, and we've got so many players with so many goals already, it's unbelievable. Top assists, well, Jed Wallace has 6 assists and 4 goals, but Bartram has 5 and 5, and less games, so Bartram is, if anything, just as good as Wallace at the moment. I think he's older though. Yeah, but Andy Bartram, cracking player at the moment. He's a beast down that side. I've said beast way too many times in this episode. My beast quota has been used. Right, most player of the matches, that's understandable that Jed Wallace would do that. He does seem to get a consistently high rating as well as creating some good chances. Pass rating, well, Partington, in the games that he's played, he has been very, very good at keeping the ball, which is why I'm very glad we brought him in, actually, because if you look at some of the other players that have been playing that central midfield role, so Danny Hollins, 71. Although mostly Hollins has been employed in our box-to-box role, whereas Partington's been more of the ball-winning midfielder. James Dunn is the player that's supposed to play the ball-winning role, but you can see there is still a 3% difference in the pass ratings of the two players. Most yellows, Danny Hollins. We've actually been very, very good, apart from obviously Paul Robinson's little lapse in concentration in that one game. We've been all right discipline-wise so far this season. Average rating, well, I can't really include Dan Butler in that, but Andy Bartram is a star. And I can't wait to see what else he's got in the bag for us. Now, I promised I would show you our injury table, but I will do that after we take a look at the stats of one of these players. So who should we have a little look at this month? Let's have a look at... Ooh, who do we want to have a little look at? It's hard to know these things. I can't even remember who I looked at in the last month. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Let's take a look at Atenjana. 25 years old. Now, he's French. So maybe that's not Nigel, maybe that's Nigel. I don't know. Has he been capped for France? No, he hasn't. That's not really that surprising. Although he is a damn good player. He's done some decent things for us. And yeah, that he plays in the role exactly that we want him to play most of the time. Although he does do a good job of getting forward when he's needed to. So to be fair to him, well done. Determination is very, very good. Stamina is fantastic. Work rate as well. He's a very, very hard-working player. The only things that lack a little bit for him is especially his marking is really poor for that role anyway. And tackling isn't that spectacular either. He can, I believe, play a bit further forward as well if he is needed to as a kind of attacking midfielder. I guess that would be the one we use. But again, finishing is so poor and long shots are so poor. He's not going to be playing that role particularly well, I wouldn't have thought. He really does lack the abilities to play that role properly. Right, so that is Nigel Atenjana. He's worth quite a bit of money too, so if he does start to improve, maybe we could sell him on for a bit more. But at the moment, we really do need him because he's been excellent for us this season. Now, I can't remember how we get to the stats. Can we do it from the squad? Some of the stuff is a little bit harder to find this year, I've got to say. Injury table. We've got 6 players out injured, but it's not so much that, it's the lengths of the injuries that we've had. Like, Agyemang has pretty much missed the entire season so far. He came back and got injured, and came back and got injured, and came back and got injured. Danny East is out. Nicky Shorey is out again. James Dunn is out again. Alex Winter is out again. Agyemang is out. He's never come back. Davis has already been out for 2 months with a double hernia. We've had players missing for our average injury time is like 3 to 4 weeks, and we get one every week basically, and it's not good. So maybe tone that down a little bit. I'm fine with injuries, and the amount of injuries isn't such a big problem. It's the length of the injuries, and it doesn't seem to be just the thing that's bad luck, because a lot of these teams are getting the same kind of problems. Like, no team on here has got less than, like, wow, how are you doing that, Morecambe? Damaged elbow. Okay. But it's the length of the injuries, and I've noticed this on the St. Pauli one, my other save as well, so it's definitely not limited to just bad luck. Let's put it that way. So, let's take a look at what fixtures we've got next month. So, it's October. That's going to be a lot of games. Right, so we've got York away and Swindon away in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. Tough one, League One side. Then we've got a home game against Mansfield, away to Bury, and home to Stevenage, possibly winnable. So basically, the live com that you will be seeing, the first live com ever for me, well, no, the first live com ever for me will be the one you'll see in the St. Pauli series earlier tomorrow, but which is against Paderborn. But the first live com you'll see for Portsmouth will be us away at the Shrews. So hopefully we're in a comfortable league position by that point, and hopefully we do have enough players left in the squad that aren't injured in order to actually field a team for it. So that's the game that you guys will see in the live com tomorrow. Right, that's about that. If you guys have been enjoying things so far, which I hope you have, please feel free to hit the like button, and if you liked it even more than that and you haven't subscribed already, then please feel free to subscribe and join in with our expedition, shall we say. Probably shouldn't say that, it sounds ridiculous. Anyway, I will probably see you guys, I hope to, see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.